Hey y'all! Pokemon Crystal using only Remoraid was a real run and gun challenge, so this week let's do something that's a lot harder. This week let's ignore the canary in the coal mine and see if we can beat Pokemon Red using only one Diglett. As usual, the rules are I can only use Diglett in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Diglett is a Pokemon best known for appearing in the anime where it disrupted a construction site building a road through an indigenous Pokemon habitat. Talk about civil disobedience! Not too long ago, Diglett got a new Alolan form with golden locks, and more recently it even got a newer Paldean form, Wiglet, which really gives me the creeps for some reason. Not that it's the creepiest thing that has ever been associated with Diglett. Huh. I guess that's what's happening down under, if you know what I mean. In terms of the stats and moves, well, it's a mixed bag. Diglett gets two of the strongest moves in the game, Dig and Earthquake, and even the coveted Rock Slide. Pretty good coverage, but not the stats to really back it up. I mean, just look at that. 10 base HP is unforgivable. It's so bad. Diglett's gonna take hits worse than dry pasta. Alright, let's do this. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Diglett so that our rival will pick Bulbasaur. Diglett is going to struggle hardcore with Venusaur's Razor Leaf, which will always critical hit. And this basically means that, no matter what we do, Bubs using Razor Leaf is an automatic loss. As for the name, Diglett is a funky little mole known for getting down in the underground environmental movement. So I nickname ours, Can You Diglett? Diglett starts off with only one move, Scratch, and normally that's usually enough to easily win the first rival battle with Bubs. And I mean easily, because we still win. Diglett, however, has such bad HP that Bulbasaur's normally nothing burger tackles hit harder than my grandpappy's arteries used to get hit by that side of bacon that he just always had to have. Miss you. Anyways, I don't even know how we managed to win this one on the first try, but I won't complain. For now, I'll just pretend we've got it made in the spade. Shovel jokes, y'all, that's what we're doing here. It's all about digging. After making it to Pewter City, I take on the Rock-type gym leader Brock, and yeah, it's not even close. Brock is always a problem for any Pokemon with only normal moves, which is most of them. Even those Pokemon, though, usually can win around level 15 just by trying over and over and getting decent enough luck. Diglett's awful HP and defense, though, remove any chance of getting lucky like that. Heck, Diglett could barely even beat the junior trainer in the gym with his Diglett and Sandshrew. More often than not, I don't even knock out the Geodude. But I'm not going to cave in just yet. Rather than try this battle at each new level, though, I resigned myself to grinding Diglett until it finally learns a new move. So I grind this little moly boy all the way up to level 18 and make sure that it's just shy of hitting level 19. It hasn't learned a new move yet, so beating Geodude is still incredibly aggravating. But with slightly more attack and bulk, I can finally knock the dang thing out, and with the experience from Geodude, Diglett hits level 19 and learns Dig. This is the key to unlocking Diglett's potential. Dig is not just a great move for beating Brock, it's literally tied for the strongest ground move in the game, next to Earthquake. And that's, you know, a good move. Dig is even strong enough to almost one-hit KO Brock's Onix, which would have made it a lot more convenient, I don't know, let's say 10 levels earlier? It's kind of crazy too, because how does Diglett even move around without using Dig? Kinda seems like it should start with that, don't you? Gotta love that Gen 1 Game Freak design. Good decisions, y'all. After traversing Mount Moon, I head to Cerulean City, and it might surprise you to find out that it was actually easier to beat Misty than Bubs here. Misty's Starmie can easily one-hit KO Diglett with Bubble Beam, and at first I had no idea how I was going to win this battle. The good news is that she also has a chance to go for an X-Defend, you know, instead of attacking. This was a groundbreaking discovery. I had to attempt it multiple times, but I knew that all I needed was some lucky X-Defend timing and a critical hit to win this battle. After cheesing out a win against Misty, I struggle repeatedly against Bubs. His big heckin' honkin' Pidgeotto barely takes any damage while blasting our sugar walls in return. Do me a favor, don't Google that. Really roughing me up there, Bubs, huh? Not appreciated. I try again at level 23, and I somehow managed to make it past the Pidgeotto without taking a sand attack. And I barely have any HP left, but, Aber can't attack, so that's a free knockout. And I figure I'm going to lose, but then Rattata misses its tackle, a 5% chance, and what's even crazier is that Bulbasaur misses a Vine Whip, which is only a 1 in 256 chance. And once again, I'd like to thank Game Freak for not being able to properly program their game, because that is not intentional. And I'm not exactly sure how much higher of a level Diglett would need to be in order to win this without this insane set of circumstances, but any guilt I have about it, I put to bed with a shovel. Aboard the SS Anne, we have ourselves a back-to-back Bubs battle. His Pokemon have gotten a lot stronger in the short walk from Cerulean City, but then again, so has Diglett. Well, not stronger, but now we have two of the best moves in this game, Body Slam and Dig. Finally, we have a decent move to hit the Pidgeotto, that stupid, fat, flying pheasant. We take a sand attack for our troubles, which actually serves to boost our attack slightly thanks to how badge boosts work in this game. Don't know what badge boosts are? Let's delve that conversation for later. After beating Bubs, I head over to the Vermilion City Gym to take on the gym leader Lieutenant Surge, and despite Diglett being an all-around terrible Pokemon, this battle was super simple. I even solved the trash can puzzle on the first try. I'm so confident that we're going to win, I don't even save before the battle, and Diglett rewards my faith by destroying Surge's team of electric enemies. It shouldn't surprise anyone though, since Game Freak put Diglett's cave right next to Surge's gym to make sure you have the tools you need to win this battle. What I'm trying to say is, we've got nothing to quarry about. After traveling through the Cave of Darkness, I head to the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town to take on the rival Bubs once again. And he completely destroyed Diglett. And even with the TM for Rock Slide I got from Celadon City, it's super uncommon for me to make it past the Gyarados, since it knows Hydro Pump. You know, seems fair. And even when I do get past it, I usually get finished off by the Ivysaur anyways. Oh god, this throws a real trench in our plans. So time to try something different. The Celadon City Gym, with Erica's gang of grassholes, went about as well as you might expect, so instead I head down the alley to beat up Giovanni in the Rocket Game Corner hideout. I didn't even bother to restore our Beepy, since Dig is strong enough to take on Giovanni's Onix and Rhyhorn. Then Kangaskhan locks itself into Rage, which is a terrible move, and after how frustrating this challenge has been thus far, I really needed a break from the stress. Or as I like to call it, an excavacation. Okay, back to Lavender Town to finish what I started with Bubs. And here we go again. Gyarados survives a Rock Slide and then misses a Hydro Pump. Only for us to Gen 1 miss our Body Slam. Only for Gyarados to miss another Hydro Pump. This is fun. Growlithe and Kadabra go down easy like smooth Gentleman Jack, and then the Ivysaur comes out. It survives a dig with just a sliver, but the game's cheating AI uses a retroactive potion to heal, wasting his one chance to retaliate. It's like the game is purposefully screwing with me, picking its moves based off of what I choose each turn, which, without cheating, how is that even possible? Must be a mole on the inside. I'm starting to run out of options for things to do, so I head to take on Koga at the Fuchsia City Gym so we can gain the ability to use Surf outside of battle. Despite being the Poison-type gym leader though, our Dig was not strong enough to one-hit KO all of Koga's Pokemon, and Sludge hit super hard in return. If Muck didn't knock us out, then usually the Weezing would. Thankfully for us, Koga defeats himself by using Self-Destruct while Diglett is underground using Dig. And this strategy should not surprise anyone. After all, Diglett is a tiny little nub known for jamming itself quickly in and out of small holes. And you know what? I'm not even going to make a joke this time. After clearing out many trainers in the Silph Company building and a futile attempt to beat the rival Bubs, I need a break and figure we're probably strong enough to beat Erica at this point. So I head back to the Celadon City Gym to kick some grass. But Diglett is still not strong enough to want to kill the Victory Bell to avoid Razor Leaf. But it is strong enough to knock it into retroactive potion range. God, I love that mechanic. Tangela resists ground and has great defense, so we end up taking some weak binds for our trouble. And I wonder if we're strong enough to want to kill the Vileplume, and we'll never know because Diglett lands a critical hit. And honestly, I'm glad to have beaten Erica, especially when I often forget to battle her at all. More than once, I've gone to the Viridian City gym only to be confused as to why the door is still locked. But who can blame me for missing it though? Erica's gym is so out of the way, it's practically a hole in the wall. Since I was able to round up a win against Erica's weeds, I head back to the Silph Company building to take on the rival Bubs. And I've been trying to beat this battle for so long, since before I managed to beat Koga. And 10 levels later, I'm still struggling. I only managed to win when Gyarados misses a Hydro Pump, which would otherwise knock us out, and Venusaur squanders 2 chances to actually attack us by spamming Leech Seed. You know, it kinda seems like Diglett is only winning battles by sheer luck. The battle with Giovanni afterwards requires no luck though. His team is bad, and he should feel bad. I've got Earthquake and Dig, which slaps most of them for super effective damage, and I just love to imagine the idea of Giovanni's master plan being foiled by a derpy little Diglett. You know, they say life's about enjoying the little things, and I agree. It feels so good to finally be bashing opponents with my tiny little nub. No, I'm talking about the Diglett. Talking about the Diglett. Stop, y'all. While I'm in town, I head on over to the Saffron City Gym to take on the Psychic-type gym leader, Sabrina. And despite Diglett being very susceptible to special attacks, our level is high enough that we outspeed all her Pokemon, and our attack stat is just high enough to one-hit KO all of her Pokemon. Just kidding, of course I'm lying. Her Venomoth survives Rock Slide and paralyzes us with Stun Spore. Alakazam lands a massive Psybeam, and then we only manage to scrape by a win because A, Psywave is a terrible move, and B, Sabrina's random AI spams Reflect multiple times, letting us win a battle we had no right to win at all. With that fiasco out of the way, there's nothing left to do but take on Blaine in the Cinnabar Island gym. Blaine's Fire-type Pokemon fall prey to Diglett's Earthquakes, our Seismic Shakes, our Quakey Eggs and Bakey. Diglett gets to the Arcanine without having taken any damage, and then it takes almost all of the damage from a massive takedown. Or as I like to call it, Downy Diglett Frowny. With all that craziness behind us, it's time to take on Giovanni in the Viridian City Gym for our last gym badge. Once again, Diglett completely drops the people's elbow right upside Giovanni's head. And I would hope so, considering we're level 50 and almost all of Giovanni's Pokemon are weak to Earthquake. And after 3 easy breezy battles with Giovanni, we've unearthed the inconvenient truth about him. He sucks. But don't get too complacent. Grab yourself some popcorn and put on some jammies, because everything after this point, it's gonna hurt. With 8 gym badges in hand, the only thing standing between us and the Elite Four is another rival battle with Bubs, but boy does he stand between us. A lot of times I lose straight away to the Pidgeot, and even if I do manage to knock it out, I'll only have roughly 30 HP left, which is nowhere near the amount required to survive a Hydro Pump from Gyarados, or anything else for that matter. So the only thing left to do is to teach Diglett the TM for Mimic, a move that lets us copy an opponent's move and use it for ourselves during the battle. And the move I'm interested in is of course Pidgeot's Agility. This will not only allow us to outspeed the Alakazam, but modifying our stat levels has the added bonus of reapplying the boost that our stats get from all the gym badges. Meaning, the 3 agilities we get, plus any tail whips used by the Rhyhorn, will raise our attack, defense, speed, and special. This helps to turn the Gyarados into a 1-hit KO and the Venusaur into a 2-hit KO. But that only makes this battle possible, not easy. In fact, this battle is absolute crap baskets. Rock Slide often misses the Gyarados, balanced only by the fact that Hydro Pump also likes to miss. Plus, no matter what, I can't 1-hit KO the Venusaur, not even with a critical hit. And a single Razor Leaf ends this entire ordeal. It also doesn't help when Venusaur critical hits a Vine Whip anyways. Oh my god, this whole process is so frustrating. Enough to make me burrow my brow. Okay, so after a half hour of resetting, I finally managed to get to the Venusaur with full health, which is even enough to take a critical hit Vine Whip. This time though, it's just a plain Jane Vine Whip and a follow-up Earthquake finishes the battle? Man, I mean, I guess I'm glad to be done with this one, but I can't really tell if I'm happy or not. I guess these challenges are starting to take their toll. Alright, here are the stats going into the Elite Four. Diglett has already reached level 58, which is higher than usual for a lot of the Pokemon I use in these challenges. Great sign. Up first is Lorelei. Normally our strategy for beating her involves using Mimic to copy Amnesia from her Slowbro to boost our special. But that would require me being able to get to the Slowbro in the first place. I usually can't even get past the stupid Dugong. At level 63, not even a critical hit can one-hit KO the Dugong, so most battles I take an Aurora Beam or a Growl, both of which are really bad for Diglett. We can't afford to lose that much health, nor can we afford to have our already embarrassing attack stat lowered further. Oh god, Cloyster Landing Clamp, by the way, will always end the battle, so gotta level up. Hooray! Another 10 levels, and I'm starting to make progress? This is an exercise in diminishing returns, though. I am putting so much effort to level this stupid thing up to only do like 5 more points of damage. Guess what, though? Dugong is still a problem, and Cloyster is still impossible. Another 7 levels, and at level 80, I finally have some success. Dugong gets knocked into retroactive Super Potion range, giving us an extra attack for free. The same thing happens with Cloyster when we get a critical hit, and any other time, we just gotta pray for Clamp to miss. Okay, now that we're 22 levels higher than when we started, love that by the way, we can finally mimic Amnesia from the Slowbro. Even then, this is a risky strategy. It can either hit us with Water Gun or boost its defense with Withdraw. Preferably, it would indefinitely spam Withdraw, but, that rarely ever happens. Hey, at least the Amnesia special increase helps us to take Water Guns, plus the badge boosts we get help us hit a little bit harder for the last of our 2 Pokemon. Even so, we barely hang on with very low health, and ironically, we would not have won this battle had Lorelei not cheated. Her Dugong, Cloyster, Slowbro, and Lapras all survive with a Sliver and use retroactive Super Potions, which gives us extra attacks where we otherwise would have just been finished off. Oh god, okay. Well, after that dreadful experience, it's hard to stay positive. So let's try to liven things up with a joke. Alright, here it goes. What do Lorelei and excavation equipment have in common? They're both dirty backhoes. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say I was gonna be positive? Sorry, I misspoke. I meant vengeful, petty little man. I cannot express how truly frustrating this entire process has become. All of that just so I can get past the first Elite Four member. Well, up next is Bruno, and there's nothing special to say about him. You know how Bruno do, though. We beat him on the first try, despite the fact that Diglett is complete dog water. And I just gotta say, I'm so over this. Why did that whole thing have to be such a pain? Seriously, I need to give myself a break. After doing that Mr. Mime only TCG run, and the 2 Nidorans at once, I really need one of these challenges to just be easy. Not even easy, just not excruciating. Oh my god. It's okay. I need to look on the bright side though. We may be getting shafted pretty hard, but in the grand scheme of things, it's only a minor inconvenience. Mineshaft. Hey, at least Agatha's pretty easy. I would be super miffed if after the nightmare that was Lorelei, I had to struggle against Agatha like usual. The good news is that Earthquake plus Rock Slide means I can hit all of Agatha's Pokemon for super effective damage, and it's on the physical side, when their bulk is mostly on the special side. This battle is delightfully unremarkable. Aside from the fact that once again, we only knock out the Golbat thanks to a retroactive Super Potion, giving us an extra free attack. And praise Jesus that this little quirk exists. I don't even want to know how high of a level we'd have to be to get through this whole thing without that little quirk. You know, for something that's come up a lot during this run, I don't think a lot of people seem to know about the retroactive item use in this game. Oh well, I guess it is pretty underground. Next up is the final Elite Four member, Lance. I use a rare candy to level up and reset our experience so that we won't level up during the battle. I'm planning to use badge boosts, which will reset to normal if we do level up during the battle, so the rare candy helps to avoid this. If I can get to the Dragonair, I can mimic agility to badge boost, but first I gotta get past the Gyarados. I either need a critical hit or a Hydro Pump miss in order for that to happen, plus I need 1 or 2 Rock Slides depending on whether or not we get a critical hit. The chance of knocking out Gyarados within the first 2 turns without getting knocked out ourselves is, I think, about 1 in 8, but I couldn't afford the math budget this month, so I had no one to check my calculations. Luckily for me though, I managed to get to the Dragonair within a few tries and set up 3 agilities. I could have easily been finished off by a Dragon Rage even after Badge Boost because it ignores damage and simply does 40 HP, but Dragonair is just randomly picking moves, so it ain't no thing. Our souped up little Diglett proceeds to one-hit KO the Dragonairs and the Aerodactyl, and while the Dragonite survives, it forgoes Hyper Beam for agility. Oh boy, silly Dragonite, now is not the time to have the need for speed. With that victory behind me, it's finally time to take on the worst battle of the entire run. Before that though, I heal up, use the last of our rare candies, and maximize my PP. Diglett is a high enough level now that we naturally outspeed even the Alakazam, and so you would think this would be easy, but it's not. Oh no, little Missy, think again, because, well, okay, hold on. Pidgeot is easy enough to take down, fine, and so is the Rhydon. And, well, technically Alakazam's a 50-50 coin flip, depending upon it using either Recover or Reflect, rather than Psybeam or Psychic. So, what's the problem, really? Oh, that's right. Gyarados. Okay, let's just try this until we get a Hydro Pump miss, so that we can get past the Gyarados. This happens decently often, but then I'll get to the Venusaur to either not have enough HP to take a Mega Drain, or it goes for Razor Leaf and we just straight up lose. In hindsight, I probably should have tried a different strategy, maybe even more levels, but with these challenges, it is really hard to not have tunnel vision. Look, there's no easy way to say this. The champion battle was awful. It took a ridiculous number of resets, but I'm not going to show you all the footage or the failed attempts, and I'm not going to continue to blither and dither on about how frustrated I am, because no one cares. I'm just going to show you the footage where we finally win and call it a day because I am a sad panda. And with that, the challenge is over. Haha, everyone yuck it up. This was terrible. Yeah, for you to watch. I had to make the dang video. And Diglett on the whole makes me hurt. It's easily one of the worst Pokemon I've ever used, and it finished at a higher level than even that of Zubat. Zubat! That's not a comparison you want drawn to you if you're hoping to be a good Pokemon. And what have I learned at the end of all this? If you decide to use this Pokemon for a solo challenge run, you're just digging your own grave. Ugh, man. Well, as always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video, because these videos are a lot of fun, usually, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And if you want early access to these videos and to have your name listed in the credits, consider becoming a member or also joining on Patreon. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Next week, we're heading back to Johto to find out if I can beat Pokemon Crystal using only one Hoppip. Anyways, until next time,